What's up, and welcome to the DualSense podcast for episode 148. I'm one of your co hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, of course, as always, by your other co host who is calling himself today Pear. Shout out to all the pears and shit.
Shout out to the Pears.
He's otherwise known as Travis. Travis, what's good?
Did you see they canceled the Formula One race this weekend?
No. What happened?
It's a bunch of
Catastrophe?
yes.
Really?
What do they call it? An act of God. It's a bunch of flooding at
Oh,
the racetrack. It's ridiculous. You should look it up.
force major, huh?
It's ridiculous. Like there's like landslides and shit.
No way. Where they at? Brazil or some shit?
Somewhere in Italy.
Oh,
So good. It saved Ferrari the disappointment of disappointing their home fans. So maybe it worked out in a
yeah.
way.
They don't make a good car, correct? Right?
They make a lot of stupid decisions. Their cars, it's
Mm,
not terrible. It's like the third or fourth best car, but they just do like oh god, they just do like they'll put the wrong tires in the car, they'll
mhm.
put the wrong amount of gas. They just do dumb stuff. I don't know. It's hard. You have to watch it. It's just their strategies are so freaking bad.
Who are their two drivers?
Signs and Leclerc,
Oh, Sainz. Fuck those guys, man.
right?
That was my
I
fucking
know.
nemesis on F122 last year. So fuck those guys.
Yeah, and Leclerc just crashes randomly. It's like he doesn't understand where the limit is. So
Yeah.
between that and the strategy, they don't have a shot.
I'm very excited. I know I think we've talked about potentially on the show about I'm starting to get excited about F123, and I'm pretty intrigued by the Vegas course that they're
hmm
adding to the game. It looks really dope. It looks like, or it sounds like they've went and like actually scanned it and everything. So that's really cool.
Yeah, allegedly they've scanned it
Yeah,
to the best of their abilities, but it's supposed to go right down the strip, so that's kind of cool.
that is. Yeah, it looks dope. It looks dope. They could have just taken pictures off of Google for all we know. So yeah.
Yes.
Well, I've got an iced coffee here tonight, and it's really good tonight. They did a good job at the Starbucks this evening, so I'm excited. I've got a whole liter of coffee here to keep me going. So
A
without any
liter?
for
How many
yeah,
cups is that?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's actually I think it's 16 ounces. It's
mm.
whatever that. It's like a that's a pint. I think it could be 20. I think it could be 20. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of coffee. Anyway, anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast. If you didn't know, where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all the week's PlayStation news, rumors, new game releases, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes. That's the catch. And we post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around this world, and as well as YouTube, where we share gameplay videos from time to time. And most recently have shared some Lego 2K Drive and some other stuff.
Did you see my comment on the live stream the other day?
Yeah, you said F in the chat, correct?
Yeah, it was great.
By the way, by the way, I had no idea that I was not recording my voice the entire time. I even checked it before on the
Oh,
PS5, made
great.
sure all the settings were right, and then I get onto the live stream, nothing. So I was like talking the entire time. So that was a bust. That was definitely an
Oh,
F in the
God.
chat. But it's at over like 500 views. So people are enjoying it, and been reviewing that game. I'll talk about that in a little while later. So also, don't forget to check us out on the social media. On Twitter, we go by at the DualSense Pod. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and we have a website which is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. You can get the episodes there every week if you so choose, as well as our bios and pictures and show notes, all that good stuff. So, without any further ado, here, let's jump into a pretty interesting week of news and some news that we have all been desperately waiting for. Number one, after nearly 2 years since the last proper PlayStation showcase, Sony finally announced plans this week to hold a new showcase event on Wednesday, May 24th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. A post on the PlayStation blog had this to say about the event. Quote, the show will run a bit over an hour, focusing on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2 games in development from top studios from around the world. Expect a glimpse at several new creations from PlayStation Studios, as well as spellbinding games from our third party partners and indie creators. End quote. In addition, it seems as if PlayStation are not messing around with this event, as the subheading of the blog post reads, quote, a wealth of new games and new IP are headed to PS5 and PSVR 2, end quote. There are many projects percolating, of course, behind the scenes, which seem like prime candidates for reveals and fresh looks at the showcase, including Marvel's Spider Man 2 from Insomniac, The Last of Us multiplayer from Naughty Dog, as well as other titles from second and third party partners like Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy, of course, Helldivers 2, Firewall Ultra, Metal Gear Solid 3, Tekken 8, Convalaria, and much, much more. Insider Jeff Grubb did add later in the week that Ghost of Tsushima 2 will not be present at the showcase. And one final note here comes from leaker Millie A, who claimed on Twitter this week that internally, PlayStation president and CEO Jim Ryan is said to be solely focused on quote unquote total mindshare after the Microsoft Activision drama. And furthermore, internal messaging from Ryan to the company has allegedly been to quote make a statement and make noise, end quote, according to Millie A. So what do you make of a showcase coming next week and anything that you think might be there?
I'm glad that there's a showcase for you all your dorks out there that are really excited.
Whoa, whoa. I'm rock hard. Yes.
Yes, I know you are.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't expect there to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2. I don't know why Jeff Grubb felt like he needed to add that. That seems kind of early for
Yeah.
that level of a game, but okay.
Mhm.
I am excited about Helldivers. I think Metal Gear will be cool.
Of
Uh,
course,
you
this
know,
is all speculation too, of
right.
course, but go
And
ahead.
these are things that you think have to be there. Like if they want to make a
Sure.
statement, these have to be the part of the statements to me,
Agreed.
including
100%.
Spider-Man 2, including a Last of Us multiplayer. They're gonna have to touch every kind of base to make the statement that Jim Ryan wants.
I think it's a good way to put it.
I hope there's some Wolverine stuff. That would be lovely.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe I don't know what else could there be really. I mean,
Yeah.
I would assume part of me feels like we're gonna have like a lull, like when you hit, there's always a lull in the showcase where nothing really happens for like 15 minutes, and it's usually like some
Mhm.
company talking about random shit for too long. That
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
the perfect chance to have about 17 Assassin Creeds come through the screen.
I
So
think
I'm
the
hoping for
lull
that.
yeah, I think the lull is going to be when they introduce the Key Light handheld remote play thing. That's the lull.
Uh,
That's the lull. Not for me personally, but that's the lull. I think you're right.
what about if they go over the not ambidextrous, the controller they put out the other day, the
The access
universal.
controller.
Yeah,
If
dude,
they hadn't have done that in a blog post, that would be there too, but they've
dude,
got that out of the way, I think.
I looked at, I can't figure out how the fuck you use it. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Actually, I am pretty interested in the showcase. I'll probably end up watching it at work because I want to see kind of what's going on.
Yeah, fuck work.
I think this for real. I think this is a good entry point for me to jump into Metal Gear since they're going to redo them all in a row. I might as well just
Wow.
jump in and go for it
Wow. Okay.
and see what happens there.
The bold
But
statement.
the end part I think is interesting here because I don't know what Jim Ryan's talking about. What's a total
Mm.
mind share? What is that?
I think that what he means by that, in my opinion, is if it's true, of course, but I think what he means by that is that he wants like PlayStation everywhere. Like you get on Twitter, they're talking about the next big PlayStation game. You get on YouTube, like, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of
Hmm.
like the buzz in the video
Hmm.
game circle and industry is
Hmm.
PlayStation, 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 PlayStation. Like he just wants to fucking just drive it, just pound it down Xbox's throat and to a lesser extent Nintendo.
Right. Yeah, I almost think that PlayStation doesn't worry about Nintendo. They because Nintendo
Yeah.
can do whatever they want. It doesn't really affect PlayStation. It's just two different things.
Right.
But does Microsoft have a showcase?
Yes, June 11th. They
I'm
are doing a
completely
showcase.
I'm
Yep.
completely out of the loop on that. So I'm sure it'll suck ass. So anyway, so what he's doing, yeah, but when you read
Uh-huh.
off his quotes, what I hear is like a coach the locker room
Yeah,
and being like, "Fuck these guys, they suck. Go out there and kick
basically.
their ass." That's what he's saying.
Uh-huh. Basically.
I fully expect them to. He's going to put a lot of pressure on these guys to be at a certain level, I think. And
Mhm.
again, that could be what we talked about the last 3 or 4 weeks with these studios being closed down. Maybe they're not up to this Jim Ryan make a statement level,
Yeah.
but when you talk about these things up here,
Mhm.
Spider-Man, multiplayer from Last of Us, Helldivers 2, all of those, Final Fantasy, all are those not statements? So that's
Yeah,
what you want to be
100%.
at, I think. I think that's what he's going for. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I listen, and of course, again, just reiterating, this is hearsay. It's just a rumor. But just sticking with Jim Ryan for a minute, if the showcase happens next week and it's just banger after banger. It's an hour, 20 minutes of just fucking bangers. That's the best way I can put it. And you look at how well PS5 is selling. You look at how well uh, PlayStation 5 games and PlayStation games in general are selling, how well they're reviewing for the most part. You look at what PlayStation Productions is doing, how well they're doing with the movies and shows so far. Like it's hard.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
it's I'm not we've joked on the show about how like Jim Ryan annoys me a little bit because and they've really stopped doing this too. I've noticed like the PR people have quit putting him in positions to pretend like he's a gamer, like photo ops with controllers. He clearly doesn't know how to hold and stuff like that. Like that stuff is quit. But in terms of like business acumen and strategy and vision and execution, it's really hard to argue at this point with the results. And so I say all that to say that if the showcase comes out and it's fucking bangers, then you got to give Jim a ton of credit. You got to give Herman Holst a ton of credit, and you got to give Shuhei Yoshida a ton of credit. And of course, they're not the only ones, but those are the buck stops with them. So
They're the division setters.
correct. So anyway, in terms of the showcase itself, I think it's gonna be heat. It's gonna be full of fire. It's gonna be a fucking banger. I put on Twitter. I had my tweet saved in the drafts for like weeks
Year.
now. I've been
Oh,
working on it. I think it's going to be about 80 minutes. I think we're going to see a lot of the things that I mentioned there, pretty much everything on that list, and more. I think we're going to get Spider-Man 2 gameplay release date. I think we're going to get The Last of Us full reveal, meaning gameplay release
mm,
date, which I think is going to be this year. I think that we're going to get Metal Gear Solid 3 potentially. There's some rumors that they might do like a collection of 1 and 2 or something like that. We're gonna get Tekken 8, Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy 16, maybe Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Some of these other smaller things like Convolaria is one of those China Hero Project games. There's some other stuff that has been rumored, like a new game from Sumo Digital, and then a game from Flying Wild Hog, I think, or People Can Fly, excuse me.
mhm.
Anyway, I think they're 100% going to shadow drop, meaning launch a live service game during the showcase, and I think that game is Helldivers 2.
Cool.
I think by that night, we'll be playing Helldivers 2, which I is fucking dope. I can't think of one that makes any other sense. Makes more sense than that, I should say.
It
In
seems like it's
term,
been ready. It's been waiting.
yeah, because in 2020, we heard from the studio that said we're making this game. They've been hiring during that time frame. It was in the NVIDIA leak back in I guess early last year, and then if you remember, like in the late summer last year, the trailer for the game, like 10 seconds of it leaked last year, and that's when we all thought at that time, like, oh man, there's about to be like a fucking state of play thing, and it's going to show up. So I think it's ready to go, and I think it's coming out during the showcase, and I think The Last of Us multiplayer gets a reveal or a release date, excuse me, for this year as well. Those are my two like really, really big, bold predictions for the show. The other thing I think is we're going to get a Uncharted reboot announcement during the show as well. And then there's some other stuff that's hard to predict. Like I think like Capcom will show up there with something, maybe like I don't know, maybe like Dragon's Dogma 2, or that might be too soon for that. There's another game they're working on. I can't remember, but I think
You think it would be a chance for EA to drop their new version of FIFA because it really hasn't been exposed?
if they hadn't have come out and said that it was gonna be a July thing that they talk about, I would say so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think Mortal Kombat will be there. They've already announced that. We're gonna talk about that later, but I think that they'll show like a maybe some gameplay or some type of new
Mhm.
trailer at
You don't
that
think we'll
too.
get anything from the Twisted Metal series or something like that?
Yes, I'm glad you said that. I think the Twisted Metal, that's the other thing. Like, will they show PlayStation production stuff for this? I
Yeah, I
doubt it
don't know. Yeah, I doubt it.
because they said PS5 and PSVR 2, but I think Firewall Ultra mentioned that that'll be there. That's getting a release date. We know they've confirmed that that's coming this year. I think October for that. Twisted Metal, that rumored free to play Twisted Metal game, that could be the shadow drop potentially because the show comes out in July. So there's that too. I mean, I don't know. I think there's at least one that's getting dropped during the showcase. I would prefer it to be Helldivers too, but Twisted Metal, I forgot about that. There is a good case for that to be it as well, but I think we'll see Twisted Metal for sure. So I think we got a lot to look forward to. I think there's a lot of heat, and part of me also thinks that there's a first person shooter announced in here somewhere. I don't know what it could be. I think it's gonna be a total fucking surprise, but I think it's a
Mhm.
first person shooter
Or
because
new IP.
yeah, a new IP first person shooter. And the reason why I'm kind of going so big on this is because I mean, in my opinion, they've set the tone. They've set the tone. They've said a wealth of new games and new IP are headed to PS5 and PSVR 2. I don't know how much more, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they said, hey, tune in for some updates on PS5 and PSVR 2. It's not what they said. So, normally they set the tone accordingly. And I think that we have a lot to be excited for. Not much longer to wait. Number two, speaking of our favorite president and CEO, Jimmy Ryan, he also gave an interview to Japanese publication Famitsu this week, in which we learned a few interesting insights into PlayStation's current operations, beyond the fact that they're preparing for a showcase. In the interview, Ryan spoke about how important the Japanese market is to Sony Interactive Entertainment, being the second largest gaming market in the world, but also referring to the company's obvious roots in Japanese culture. And additionally, he revealed that Ghost of Tsushima sold 1 million copies in Japan alone, which is pretty impressive. Ryan also said it is too early to judge PSVR 2 success and that they have many titles in development for the headset. Most importantly, however, Jimmy said that Sony is committed to developing more PS5 exclusive games and that there are no plans to release those games day one on PC. He said, quote, we also fully understand the important. Let me back up for a second. This is a Google translation of what he told Japanese Famitsu. So it's a little bit loosey goosey. And he said, quote, we also fully understand the importance of PS5 exclusive titles. As I mentioned earlier, PlayStation Studios' main responsibility is to have people enjoy the game experience using the latest PlayStation. We are increasing the number of PS5 exclusive titles and staggering the release of the PC version. I often have the opportunity to ask game fans for their opinions, and when I ask them about the time lag, they say that selling the PC version 2 or 3 years after the release of the PS5 version is accepted favorably. End quote. So one quick thing to note here is this is, like I said, this is a little wonky because it's a Google translation, but what do you make of any of this?
No, I mean, I'm glad that Jim Ryan said that the Japanese culture, the Japanese area is important to PlayStation as it should be since it's,
Hmm.
a Japanese company.
Right.
And I guess that goes without saying, but you can kind of tell he's playing to the crowd there a little bit or to the interviewer.
Sure. Sure.
I get that Ghost of Tsushima selling a million copies is, I guess it's impressive in Japan. It does show that they're catering to their clientele and that their clientele is liking that game over there. But I mean, it's not that surprising, is it really? I mean,
Yeah.
think about if they made like a AAA level Revolution game and you got to be George Washington, like we would all buy that shit here. It's like, of course it sold well in Japan. Like, anyway, but no, I mean, just nitpicking there. The PC thing I think is interesting because I wonder how true it actually is that people don't mind it being 2 or 3 years out from the PlayStation release. I can say that,
Yeah.
if I was a PC gamer and I wanted to play those games, I'd be annoyed.
Hmm.
There are some games that I can't play on PlayStation that are on PC only that I'm annoyed I can't play. So I can kind of relate to that a little bit in some sense, but the last couple of PC releases they've done, they've kind of fumbled it anyway.
Yeah.
They haven't
True.
been great, they've been glitchy, they haven't been
It's a good
scaled or
point.
whatever. So it's like if you're gonna make people wait multiple years, the thing has to be bang on. It can't
Yeah.
be some subpar bullshit that we're gonna see in June at the Microsoft showcase. So we gotta like if we're gonna give it to them years later, it needs to be dead on,
Yeah.
regardless of, you know,
Mhm.
what market you're excited to be involved in. But yeah, that's just, the PlayStation thing real I mean, sorry, the personal computer thing,
Mhm.
like, that's so weird to me, the time lag. Like, I just can't imagine people are okay with that, but like I said, maybe since they've been shitty, they're okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point in fairness. I mean, like you said, the last couple of releases, and in particular, The Last of Us Part 1 was shitty. You know, it was definitely not up to PlayStation Studio standards, in my opinion, and it's pretty alarming that they even let it out the door that way. And because that's not something that PlayStation typically does. The last time that they really kind of like shit the bed with something, I would say, that I can remember off the top of my head is Days Gone. Like they let that out. They let that out not to consumers per se, but they gave reviewers that game like 2 weeks before release, and they did not give them a release day version of it, code for it. So it was like buggy and shit like that. So that's like reminiscent of like 2019 PlayStation. And I'm so yes, I think that's a good point in that, maybe they're pumping the brakes a little bit on the PC thing in terms of like, hey, we're still gonna do it, but like you said, let's make sure we get it right before we go out here and start shitting these PC games out. The other thing is, this is the one thing too I wanted to point out is like after Jim does all this good shit, he goes and says something in here that irks me greatly. He talks about, and of course, again, Google translation, so maybe it's not exactly what he said, but it says what we have to go on right now is that he talks often to he often has the opportunity to ask game fans of their opinions. No, he fucking doesn't. He fucking does not ever talk to PlayStation fans. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He's never accessible to PlayStation fans anywhere. There's no way he talks to any any fans. People might tell him what people are thinking and saying online, etc., but he doesn't talk to fucking PlayStation fans. So
You don't think he
that's
has
the
a
type of
ghost
stuff.
account where he goes on Twitter and just like chats it up
Maybe.
in the PlayStation
I
Discord?
mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not trying to disrespect the man totally, but like, just you're a businessman. It's fine. Like,
Right.
quit trying to fart in my face and tell me that it smells like roses. Like,
I,
gosh damn it.
like to your point earlier, he's a leader. Like he surrounds himself with the video game people. He doesn't have to be the video game person.
Yeah, and he's great at it. But just stop with this nonsense stuff like this. And so anyway, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he talks to, like you said, maybe he's in fucking Reddit every day, just in the PlayStation Reddit subreddit, just going ham. Like, yeah, can you believe that fucker, Jim Ryan? Anyway, so very impressed that Ghost of Tsushima sold 1 million in Japan. Good for those guys, and obviously a smash hit overall. So, but no issues with PlayStation holding off several years, and that I'm curious to see if this how this plays out because the thought too, like using The Last of Us multiplayer as an example, the thought too is that that game would launch day and date on PC and PS5, which
Right. Right.
maybe Jim is siloing off the two things meaning that maybe the live service games are in one silo. They are going to come to PC, but then the Ghost of Tsushima 2s of the world and the God of
Hmm.
Wars of the world, they're going to come only to PS5 until a couple years down the road. Maybe that's what
I
he
could see
means.
that. I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah. Number 3, thanks to their financial earnings reporting, we learned a lot of good intel regarding publisher Ubisoft's near and midterm plans this week. For starters, Ubisoft confirmed that the fiscal year, which runs April of 2023 through March of 2024, includes the following game releases: Assassin's Creed Mirage, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Mobile, Tom Clancy's The Division Resurgence, which is a mobile game, Skull and Bones, The Crew Motorfest, and quote unquote another large game, which some are speculating is a Star Wars title of some sort. Notably absent from the list, Travis, is of course our beloved The Division Heartland. Ubisoft also has big plans for the Assassin's Creed franchise, as we know, but they appear to be even bigger than we thought. The French publisher is increasing the number of staff working on Assassin's Creed by 40% over the next few years, which they will accomplish by pulling devs from other teams and projects. So if you thought that Ubisoft learned that it shouldn't annualize the Assassin's Creed franchise, then perhaps think again. The company has also licensed a series of Assassin's Creed NFTs, which can be produced as physical collectibles. These NFTs are officially called Assassin's Creed Smart Collectibles. How clever. And each represents a character from the series, which will have, quote, rare and unique outfits and weapons, end quote. Once players buy an NFT, they will be able to customize it and order a 3D printed physical version of their character in a glass container. Wonderful. The container will include a chip that can be scanned for authentication, and it's also able to interact with a companion app that is forthcoming.
Hmm.
And something that's not coming over this news is me. But what do you make of any of this?
I'm actually kind of excited about Mirage.
Yeah.
Could care less about the rest of that stuff. I mean, Skull and Bones and probably the absolute dog shit that it will be is exciting for the wrong reasons. And
No, I agree. Yeah.
I noticed that when you said, "Oh, the crew could be cool," I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
When you said another large game, I was hoping that would be the Division Heartland, but the Star Wars thing does make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It just makes perfect sense. Like, why would it not be Star Wars? The 40% increase is surprising to me, and they can't all be working on games, right? Like, I guess they are, but
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, does that count? Does some of them work on the TV series? I don't. I just it's a lot of
I
people.
don't
It's
know.
a fucking lot of people.
It's gonna yeah, I think it's gonna take the head count working on Assassin's Creed at Ubisoft to 2,800 people.
Good God,
Yeah.
be 2,800 people just on Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Like,
Because they're currently at about 2,000.
yeah, and then what if it sucks? You
Yeah.
you put 2,000 people on something that's mediocre. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway,
I mean, it's huge.
that's insane.
Don't get me wrong, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's just insane. I honestly had forgotten NFTs existed, so this is
Right. Don't we
surprising to
all?
me. To be honest, I do think that the idea that you could make it and then get it printed and delivered to you is kind of interesting. That's the most
I mean,
interesting version of an NFT I've seen.
I agree. It is neat. I mean, I have to admit it is kinda neat, but
Yeah, but how customizable? Like, can I get
yeah.
Enzo with a dildo? Like, cool. That'd be really cool. It's hidden. It's
Uh,
into the blades. It shoots out of his hand.
uh-huh.
Anyway, God, this is what you expect from Ubisoft though. Like, you expect 100 things a year, and
Yeah.
like one of them will stick. You just don't know what it is. These mobile
Yeah.
games, I'm super skeptical about, but whatever. I mean, to me, it's gonna be like Call of Duty Mobile. Like, you see people
Mhm.
playing it, but it's whatever.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I've talked about before about how I'm very excited about Assassin's Creed Mirage. Very excited about the Avatar game because it's from the people who made the Division 1 and 2. So like that's like automatically like high on my list, and I've become a pretty big Avatar fan, at least of the films. They've really grown on me. The as Travis sighs in
It's
disgust.
because you started drinking coffee and now you have terrible opinions.
Potentially. Potentially. The Crew Motorfest, God, that looks so fucking dope. Like, here's the thing. I've said it before, like Ubisoft games, like they're my shit. Like they speak to me a lot, most of their games. Like I'm here for them. They make cool shit, but they also do a lot of boneheaded shit. And I guess that's every company, but like their their clip at which they do stupid shit is pretty high. Like the ratio of cool to stupid is like 60-40, I would say.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
like
way too high.
making a deal with a foreign nation about making a video game is pretty boneheaded.
Yeah, what the Singapore thing. By the way, I'm 100% asking to review Skull and Bones because and I might do it with that fucking Rocket City game too. Because if it's a fucking dumpster fire, like I don't know,
Perfect.
it's like trying to watch a train wreck. I might try to do both of those. And you know what? Part of me, honestly, at this point, I part of me somewhat thinks Skull and Bones might not be terrible. Like it might be like an 8 potentially. I don't know. Just a kind of a gut feeling I have.
It's
It
like
could just be
accidentally
gas.
decent.
Yeah, accidentally decent. Yeah, it's just a gut feeling I have. It could just be gas, but um, yeah. So the Crew Motorfest, excited about that as well. The other large game, if it's Star Wars, that's a fart noise for me. It's a massive fart noise. So I'm disappointed in on the Assassin's Creed front because, like we talked about last week, they have already been down this road. Well, let me back up. So, like we talked about last week with Horizon, we talked about Burnout, and I think that PlayStation's playing with some fire there with the Horizon IP. Now, Ubisoft has already burned us out on Assassin's Creed once before, which is why they switched to this model where we were getting one, I think, every 3 years, maybe every 2 years. We got Origins, and I think it was two. So there was Origins, and then Odyssey, and then Valhalla. Yeah, it was every two. So we were skipping a year, which made things better, but a couple of those games still weren't great in my opinion. Now it seems like that they're eventually going to be working towards this theory or vision of where we have something Assassin's Creed every year, and I don't think that's the move. I really don't think that's the move. So It's going to be interesting to see. And I wish the NFT thing would just die on the vine. It's like Ubisoft and Square Enix are like the only two fucking companies still talking about NFTs. And I get so tired. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing? So they're also two companies that appear to be in trouble. Square Enix has had to sell off all these people, all and
They
close
sold
some teams
people.
and shit like that. And
What are you
Ubisoft
talking
is,
about?
huh?
They sold people. What do you mean?
Sorry, Jesus Christ. Fuck you. I meant developers.
Oh, they sold developers too? Oh,
Yeah.
you mean companies or not the actual developer per
Studios.
se? Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I was just thinking I thought
Studios.
that was
Gosh,
illegal.
gosh damn it. They sold studios. Fuck you. They sold studios and Ubisoft almost got bought out by whoever the fuck it was. And so anyway, just maybe lay off the NFTs and the dumb shit and you'll
That's
be
because
okay.
the NFTs are money laundering, so it makes perfect sense.
You know? Yeah, could be. Could be. Number 4. Rockstar owner Take-Two Interactive is forecasting a sharp jump in sales during its next fiscal year, which will run April of 2024 to March of 2025. The company is expecting a revenue jump from $5.5 billion this year to over $8 billion next year, a surefire indication that they are planning to release Grand Theft Auto 6 during that time frame, potentially holiday of 2024. In fact, CEO Strauss Zelnick said, quote, in fiscal 2025, we expect to enter this new era by launching several groundbreaking titles that we believe will set new standards in our industry and enable us to achieve over $8 billion in net bookings, that's revenue, and over $1 billion in adjusted unrestricted operating cash flow, otherwise known as profit. Take Two also revealed that Grand Theft Auto 5 has now sold 180 million units as of March, which is up, Travis, from 175 million units sold just 3 months ago in December. So they sold 5 million copies, more copies in 3 months of GTA 5.
I
In
understand.
unbelievable. Anyway, what do you think?
I just don't get it. Okay, I don't understand. Who doesn't have the game? Who's buying it? I don't get it.
Also, 5 million copies in 3 months. I mean,
That's insane.
most games are thrilled to death if they sell 5 million in a lifetime, and they sold
Right.
5 million in 3 months for a game that's fucking over a decade old.
Yeah. What's 180 times, call it 65? You split the
Yeah.
difference. I
Let's just
mean,
say 30
yeah.
because if it's been on sale,
Oh yeah, so you'd be looking at 36
yeah,
and
180 million. Let's just say 30.
goddamn.
It broke the calculator. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So it's at least like $20. So they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can't mean anything else other than they're releasing GTA 6. The more interesting
Hmm.
question is what are these several other groundbreaking things they're doing?
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
no, what other game could they possibly be making?
I don't know. It's a
I
good
mean,
question.
they, I don't know. Like it's just I hope it's probably just hyperbole because what's
Mhm.
groundbreaking titles mean at this point? I mean, God, I can't wrap my mind around the 5 million units for no reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else the hell they could be rolling out except for GTA 6. I think that's
Mhm.
interesting to me.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean,
It's just titles. I mean, it's not TV shows or
yeah,
something else.
it's games. I mean, I could definitely see where, they sell $3 billion worth of GTA 6 in a year,
Hmm.
or whatever, in
In a
4
month.
months. Yeah, in a month and in a few months. I mean,
I mean, now that you
definitely.
can, because now if you download it digitally, this will be like the first GTA 6 that's fully available digitally from the jump.
Mm, yeah, true. I also wonder what they're gonna do with GTA Online. That's a big question mark. If they're just gonna carry that over somehow, or that'll be curious. Interesting to see, I should say. So, yeah, just they're predicting $1 billion in profit for the fiscal year that starts next year. $1 billion in profit, unbelievable. And that's just one video game publisher. It's not like it's fucking Sony or Microsoft. That's
Hmm.
Take Two, a video game publisher, $1 billion in profit. So, anyway, that's unbelievable. Number 5, industry sales analytics firm Circana, formerly known as the MPD Group, the artist formerly known as the MPD Group, revealed their April sales data this week. 7 of the month's top 15 best selling games were new releases. including Dead Island 2, which somewhat surprisingly debuted at number 2 on the overall sales list and already ranks 6th in year to date dollar sales. PS5 was the best selling console in dollar sales for the month, with the Switch still selling more units. Some interesting notes from the top 20 list of best selling games include Star Wars Jedi Survivor debuting at number 1, Dead Island 2 as at number 2 as previously mentioned, MLB The Show 23 holding at number 3, PGA Tour debuting at number 7, and The Last of Us Part 1 dropping all the way to number 17. Anything jump out at you here?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have expected Dead Island 2 to be that high when it first came out, but based off of everything I've heard and seen about it since then, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
PGA Tour at 7, even though it kind of does stupid shit, shows you that people just want a golf game that works.
Yeah.
And I would assume The Last of Us will keep dropping once the show kind of tapers off, and
Mhm.
I guess we'll see a resurgence of 2 the closer we get to season 2 of the show, I would presume. Yeah, nothing too insane there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was really surprised by Dead Island 2 debuting at number 2, not because it's not a good game, but just because all of the, drama leading up to it, like we've discussed on the show with changing developers and, people just generally not having faith in it. And there it is at number 2, already 6th best selling game or highest selling game of the year in
Right,
dollar sales, I should say. It's pretty good. But those guys are just tickled shitless. And,
right. I mean,
you
they're
know,
not gonna
we,
catch GTA because they can, 5,000,000 in 2 days.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, if you remember, they sold 1,000,000 copies of Dead Island 2 in the first 3 days, which is a huge win for them. So congratulations to Dan Buster and of picking up the ball and really running with it. And like you said, The Last of Us that'll fall even further. Like you said, as the show starts to kind of fade from the zeitgeist a little bit. Yeah, that's about it. It's not a very eventful month from a sales standpoint. PS5 still doing well. It's going to continue to lead that dollar sales race for the whole year, and occasionally dip in and out of more units. Probably September when Spider-Man comes out, it'll outsell Switch and maybe around the holiday sometime as well too. But anyway, that's all I take away from that. Number 6, we have a bunch of news nuggets as well. Travis, feel free to jump in here. First nugget: PlayStation fully revealed their new accessibility focused PS5 controller this week. It's called simply the Access Controller and features analog stick caps in various shapes, button caps in different shapes and sizes as well, and swappable button cap tags that essentially allows the player to customize the controller to what works best for them. All buttons are also oriented on a circle with an attached joystick, and it looks like a really sick fighting game controller. That's the best way that I can describe it. So, pretty cool that they're focusing on something like that, though. Also, Rocket League style soccer meets archery competitive sports game Knock is launching on PSVR 2 on May 25th, so this week. It will feature support for all of the headset's features and will run at 90 frames per second with no foveation and no reprojection. So it should be a very clear picture. It's also coming with a season pass of content baked in for all who buy the game. And thankfully, it will support crossplay with all major VR platforms. I'm very excited about this, but I'm very concerned that it'll make me vomit.
I think it looks awesome, but yes, I agree with you.
It looks sick. It looks sick. Maybe they figured out a way to make it comfortable. I'm probably going to buy it anyway and give it a
Mhm.
go.
Why not? Do you think the crew will be in VR?
It's possible, and here's why I say that because we know Ubisoft is making a VR Assassin's Creed game that's supposed to be coming out this year. So there's
Mhm.
some of that Assassin's Creed shit. So I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's a 0% chance. It's a non-0% chance for sure. Next nugget. The European Commission announced this week that it has approved the Microsoft Activision deal with behavioral remedies focused on cloud gaming availability. The British CMA followed that with a statement that they believed the EU is making a big mistake, saying that European regulators accepting would, quote, allow Microsoft to set the terms and conditions for this market, meaning cloud gaming, for the next 10 years, end quote. And later in the week, the Chinese government approved the Microsoft Activision deal. Not that we give a fuck what they think. Also, ESPN reported this week that EA Sports will allow college football players to opt in to having their likeness included in the upcoming EA Sports College Football that is releasing in the summer of 2024. Payment amounts, are still being worked out at the moment, but every football bowl subdivision player that is eligible will receive compensation. Those who opt out will have a generic name and avatar in the game instead. So everybody's going to get their paper, Travis.
What's really interesting to me is the way that I play the game. When I play Dynasty Mode, I want everybody on my team to be people I recruited, but I want to play against real people the first few years. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you do that. That is you.
I will cut all of you. I don't even care.
I also forgot to include this, but there was more news later in the week that EA is focusing on Dynasty Mode as like the main draw, like the main focus, the main game mode. So that's music to my ears. And of course, well, I guess I can't share that, but anyway, yeah. So the Dynasty Mode being the focus is a wonderful thing. Also, Infinity Ward multiplayer design director Jeff Smith revealed in an interview with Dexerto this week. Dexerto? I have no idea how to say that. That shipment, the iconic Call of Duty map, was an accident, as it was a split screen test map left in the original Modern Warfare 2 by mistake.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah, it's a great mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Website Video Games Chronicle reported that NetherRealm and Warner Brothers announced Mortal Kombat 1 this week, a reboot of the series that will be the start of a new Mortal Kombat universe, but with the same characters that you're used to seeing. It is launching September the 19th for PS5, with a beta taking place in August for those who pre-order. Later in the week, Amazon leaked the contents of the game's first DLC pack. Players can expect Quan Chi, Omni-Man from Invincible, Ermac, whatever the fuck that is, Takeda, Peacemaker, and Homelander to join the fight at some point after launch. There's that. Also, CD Projekt Red has now laid off 29 employees at American studio The Molasses Flood, the team working on the newly restructured Project Sirius, which is that multiplayer Witcher game.
Or do you think that Molasses Flood is in Boston?
It is.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's where the Molasses Flood happened. So okay.
Yeah, they named their studio after that. They are in
Cool.
Boston, indeed. Mm-hmm. You fucking history majors. Also, free-to-play battle royale title Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, which you and I dabbled in, announced that it's ceasing development 1 year after its launch. Can't say that's a surprise.
No.
The servers will remain live for the time being, however.
Okay, time being. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
July.
Like 3 days. Yeah, like 3 days. After saying that they wouldn't, Disney Speedstorm has now nerfed its most powerful character after numerous complaints from players. So sometimes it works. Blizzard announced that it has scrapped plans to deliver a co-op PvE hero mode for Overwatch 2, which pissed off a lot of people this week. I mean, everybody was fucking mad about this.
It doesn't sound terrible. It seems like a smart thing to put into the game, but what do I know?
Yeah, I agree. Developer CI Games announced that hardcore action RPG Lords of the Fallen will launch October the 13th for PS5, and it will feature 2-player co-op, and it's being made on Unreal Engine 5. Website Gaming Nexus, the wonderful website known as Gaming Nexus, reported that Amazon Games and Swedish conglomerate Embracer Group have partnered to develop an MMORPG based on The Lord of the Rings for both PC and consoles. Sega has said that it could adapt other IPs for film after the success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and Sega also suggested that they will raise their game prices to $70 after being one of the last major publishers to hold out, saying that they will, quote, review the prices of titles that we believe are commensurate with price increases, end quote.
What other IP besides Sonic do they have that you would put into a movie?
I'm sure there is some.
There is some. I bet there is too.
Like Nobody Time Crisis. Knows. Do they do Time Crisis? I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that Quantum Leap? Is that what that is?
I don't fucking know. They did Crazy Taxi.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a hell of a show. Okay.
Yeah. I can't wait for that crossover. Crazy Taxi.
Bob De Niro made that already.
He did. He certainly did. You talking to me? All right. Website Games Industry reported that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has increased its stake in Electronic Arts by 55%, raising its share total from 16.1 million shares to 24.81 million shares, which is a nearly 10% stake
Mhm.
in Electronic Arts overall.
Yeah.
So, hate this. Fucking hate that.
We'll get a live golf game pretty soon then.
Jesus Christ.
I can't believe they
Yeah,
have a public investment fund. That's very interesting because you don't hear of a lot
yeah,
of countries having that.
right.
It sounds like a really good opportunity to embezzle money.
It does, doesn't it? Anyway, Sony has lost its FIFA Ultimate Team loot box appeal in Austria and will be throw another shrimp on the bobby and will be obligated. I know. It's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Yeah, yeah.
And will be obligated to refund some purchases in the country.
Wow. Imagine Austria having some moral ground to stand on in a situation. That's really
Yeah.
didn't have any in 1939, did you guys? Fucking just let them walk right in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Finally got some intestinal fortitude.
I guess you get your shit pushed in. That'll happen.
Yeah. Oh, website Bush Square reported that Spider-Man's Miles Morales is joining Fortnite sometime between May 18th and June 18th, according to leaker iFire Monkey. The original Crash Bandicoot voice actor, Brendan O'Brien, passed away this week at age 60. Two of the week's
Jesus.
PlayStation Plus Premium tier editions launched with trophy support. They're Blade Dancer, Lineage of Light, and Pursuit Force. A free-to-play pool, meaning billiards game, launched this week on PS5 called Pool Blitz from developer Cherry Pop Games. Mixed up in the shuffle of EA's earnings reporting last week was that CEO Andrew Wilson said the company will, quote, bring Battlefield back in an entirely new way in the future, end quote. I
Yeah.
don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I saw that, and
Mhm.
my reaction is I hope he just meant completed when they release it.
Right. Yeah, because now that they've actually like figured out 2042 and it's good.
Yeah. I don't what you I don't know. Like literally it's just if you want to play that type of an FPS, you have Call of Duty and Battlefield. So it's like it's not like they
Yeah,
need to reinvent the wheel.
right. I agree. Also, 17 games are scheduled to leave PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers on June 20th, including Descenders, which I think literally just came to fucking PlayStation Plus. That's that downhill biking game, but it also includes Witchwood, John Wick Hex, Keyway, Agents of Mayhem, and more.
So I actually like John Wick Hex.
Oh, did you play it?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Did you play it?
I dabbled in it for a little
I don't
bit.
know.
Like,
It's interesting. I like how you make your decisions and then it lets you watch the whole thing.
mhm.
I kind of
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Oh, I didn't know you tried it. Cool. Yeah, it's not bad. Also, Horizon Forbidden West was patched this week and finally allows completionists to 100% the Burning Shores DLC after a missing crystal was added in the game. That's a needed collectible. Reliable leaker Bill Kun, no idea, claimed this week that the PS5 version of co-op heist shooter Crime Boss Rocket City, here we go, Travis, is set for a June 22nd release, which will place it head to head with Final Fantasy 16's launch date.
Mm,
And for me, that means fuck all to me because I'm not playing Final Fantasy 16. So it's,
tough for them.
yeah, it's looking like a Crime Boss Rocket City kind of summer, huh?
For real.
Anyway, Until Dawn developer Supermassive Games is making a single player game in the Dead by Daylight universe. It will come to PS4 and PS5 whenever it releases. Speaking of Dead by Daylight, actor Nicolas Cage is coming to the game as a playable survivor named Nicolas Cage on July the 5th.
Why did you word it like that?
Did you like it? Did you like my joke? You
Yeah.
laughed. It worked.
Okay.
I should have changed it to Nick Cage, shouldn't I? I'm good. I was trying to get you when I was typing that. I was like, oh, this is going to get Travis, I think. Okay. Also, SpongeBob SquarePants content, I almost said content. Content is coming to Power Wash Simulator this summer. PS1 top-down action adventure game Herc's Adventures appears to be headed to the PlayStation Plus Premium Collection in the very near future, as product listings have appeared on Sony servers. Tactical RPG Front Mission 1 and 2 are likely headed to PS4 after trophies have pooped up online or popped up, as it should be. It's a cool typo, huh? They have pooped up. A Polish podcast has claimed that Cyberpunk 2077's Phantom Liberty expansion will release in June perhaps as a shadow drop at Summer Game Fest. Pretty excited about that one.
Do you think if in Poland they're ever like an American podcast and then it says like whatever dumb shit we say?
I hope so. I hope so. one of these days. That's our goal. That's our goal. Also, a remake of PlayStation 2 classic Persona 3 is rumored to be announced in June. The Uncharted roller coaster, called Uncharted: The Enigma of Penitence, is set for its maiden voyage on June 17th at Port Aventura World in Tarragona, Spain, and Tarragona be there for that roller coaster. Okay. Anyway, PlayStation's ex-dev and marketing team visited Kojima Productions recently as they no doubt prepare for a proper reveal of Death Stranding 2, and people are speculating that it's going to be at the showcase, and I caution them to remember that Kojima and Jeff Keighley have a bromance, and he most certainly will reveal Death Stranding 2 at Summer Game Fest, not the PlayStation Showcase. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Square Enix plans to create and acquire new studios to strengthen its in-house development capabilities, according to its latest financial briefing, which sure does not sound like a company that is about to be acquired by Sony. And also, as we talked earlier, they sold 3 studios and now they're going to acquire and create new ones. Like, what the fuck are they doing? I don't get it. Also, Fortnite removed its Trios mode this week for some reason, which also pissed off a large number of players. Seems pretty asinine.
Great.
Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: NBA 2K23, Horizon Forbidden West, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Asanzo Disney Speedstorm, WWE 2K23, Minecraft and Legends, and Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. And I was so close to buying Isanzo this week, and then I got on the game's Reddit, and apparently, like, not very many people play it, so it's hard to always get into a game. So there's that.
Perfect.
Needs to be a PlayStation Extra game or some shit. Also, Darkest Dungeon 2 is still planned for consoles, according to the game's developer. They just don't have a release date in sight at the moment for when that's going to happen. And there were more rumors about Mortal Kombat 1 that say Conan the Barbarian will also be a DLC character at some point, which is cool. Wrestling game AEW Fight Forever will release any day now, after preloading for the game began this week apparently, and its trophy list went live on trophy tracking sites. There's been no official word yet, however, on when the game will release.
Hopefully it doesn't. It's just stuck there.
Yeah, it's just stuck and like ready to go, but never releases. Next nugget, the new BioShock is rumored to be in development hell and was rebooted a 4th time last summer by developer Cloud Chamber. So it sounds like things are going really well. It's another Dead Island 2 moment or cycle here. Real-time strategy game Aliens Dark Descent has gone gold ahead of its June 21st launch on PS4 and PS5. It looks wonderful. A new player survey from Bungie has asked if fans would be interested in a new Destiny game, perhaps hinting at what is next for the PlayStation subsidiary.
I don't even play Destiny, and I'm interested.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just make it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I'm also interested in that other rumored thing that they're doing called Matter. I think it's called Matter or something like that. So we'll see. 2D one-hit kill samurai fighting game Sklash is coming to PS4 and PS5 on August the 4th. I sent you that earlier. It looks very cool.
Very cool.
Website Gamatsu reported that Sony Santa Monica studio art director Rafael Grassetti announced that he is leaving the God of War developer after 10 years. And he says he's going to announce what he's doing next week, or this week now, I should say. Bloober Team's Layers of Fear remake will launch June 15th for PS5 if you're interested in shitting your pants. Publisher Microids announced that Smurfs Kart will launch for PS4 and PS5 on August 22nd. Publisher Skybound Games announced that their wrestling RPG WrestleQuest has been delayed out of May to sometime later this summer. Free-to-play robot team shooter Border Break will end service, on PS4 on September the 9th. Genshin Impact's version 3.7 update will launch on May 24th. The original Shantae game will come to PS4 and PS5 on June 2nd. RPG The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails will launch for PS4 on September the 19th in North America and September 22nd in Europe and Oceania. Off-road racing game Overpass 2 was announced for PS5 and it will launch on October 19th, and it's also being developed on Unreal Engine 5, and it looks pretty cool. Side-scrolling action adventure game Nocturnal will launch for PS4 and PS5 on June 7th for $20. Publisher Nacon announced card collecting combat game Asterix and Obelix Heroes for PC and consoles, although specific platforms were not announced. It's launching sometime this September. Action platformer sequel The Smurfs 2: The Prisoner of the Green Stone was announced for PS4 and PS5. It will launch this October. Telltale Games announced The Expanse, a Telltale series episode 1, which will launch for PS4 and PS5 on July 27th, with new episodes releasing every 2 weeks. Not a big fan of the episodic release. I thought we were past that, but okay. Hand-drawn adventure game Gibbon Beyond the Treat will come to PS4 and PS5 on June 1st. An open beta test for free-to-play 24-player battle royale My Hero Ultra Rumble will be available on PS4 from May 25th to June 1st. Preloading is available right now. Guilty Gear Strive's next DLC character is Asuka R#, hashtag, Asuka hashtag. And he will launch on May 25th. Arc System Works also confirmed that a third season pass is in the works. Developer Corcel Technology has canceled their roguelite action RPG Quantumancy The Purgatory for PS4 and PS5. And with a name like that, they probably needed to do that a long time ago. Also, Platinum Games released a free DLC for The Wonderful 101 Remastered this week. It follows Luca on a side-scrolling action adventure, whatever that means, if it means anything. Chinese company NetEase Games developer Jackalope Games has rebranded as Jackalyptic Games and revealed that they're working on a game in the Warhammer universe. Okay. First-person Metroidvania game Superland at 6 Inches Under Shadow dropped this week on PS4 and PS5. Survival horror puzzle game Homebody launches June 1st for PS4 and PS5. Pet simulation game Wobble Dogs. Always love those Wobble Dogs. Is coming to PS4 on May 23rd. So very soon indeed. And finally, Travis Gamatsu reported that turn-based RPG Monochrome Mobius Rights and Wrongs Forgotten will launch for PS4 and PS5 on September the 5th in North America and September the 8th in Europe and Oceania. And that is all for the news this week. Pretty big week of news. And I'll turn it over to you now for this week's new games.
On the 15th, we have Pool Blitz and Trackmania. On the 16th, we have Bus Simulator 21, Next Stop, Humanity, Cargast, 10 Hearts, Warlander, Zool Redimensioned. On the 17th, we have Under the Warehouse. It's about a, I was going to make a Little Mermaid joke, but it didn't come together. All right. We also have World Championship Boxing Manager 2. On the 18th, we have Argonauts Agency 4, Glove of Midas. So theoretically, everything you punch to turn to gold. We have Chasm the Rift. That's what a chasm is. We have Cubic Figures, Descending, Firmament, Nightmare Reaper, Red Matter 2. And on the 19th, we had Cyber Citizen Shockman and Lego Drive 2K. Wait, Lego 2K Drive.
Yeah, a little bit of dyslexia there. Never hurt anybody.
Hmm.
So a couple of intriguing releases this week. I did try the Pool Blitz game. It's not bad. So like I said, it's free to play. It has a platinum trophy, which is not common for a free to play game. I also tried out the Trackmania game. It's pretty cool. You feel like you're going super fucking fast on that game. It's different. It's also a free to play game. Bus Simulator 21 came out on PlayStation Plus Extra. Still haven't got to try it yet, as did Humanity, which is getting very good reviews. Haven't got to try it yet either. Warlander is also a lot of free to play games this week. Warlander is another free to play game. It's like a medieval team based warfare thing that I think you and I are going to try out later if you downloaded it or not. Okay, I guess that's a no. And
I downloaded it.
Let's see here. What else? The rest of the stuff looked like ass, except for Red Matter 2 on PSVR 2 is apparently very good. Very good. I've been so tempted to buy it. but I'm gonna wait for a sale. But Red Matter 2, PSVR 2, check that out. And Firmament, actually, I don't know why they put that on there. It's actually not out on PlayStation yet. It's coming, PlayStation, but just not ready yet. And then the biggest one, of course, is Lego 2K Drive, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. So that's all for the new games. And let's start to wrap the show up, Travis, like we always do, by discussing what we've been playing and anything that we're looking forward to. Well, I think we have a lot to look forward to, but what's been on your plate?
Well, they updated PGA Tour.
Okay.
Now I can't make putts, and I hate the game completely.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I almost uninstalled it. It does
Oh
some
shit.
cool things like they've added some quality of life things like if you're close to the hole, the camera will zoom in. I've also had like different physics around the green where the ball will flip out or bounce off the pin more realistically. Like some of the updates are really good, but like before it would give you the putt line and you could like angle it a certain way and it would follow the line. But now now it seems like it seems like it's much less prominent now. Like instead of going over 4 clicks, you should go over 2. And then
Okay.
if your power is 0.1% off of perfect, it'll be short or it'll tell to the right or the left. And it's like your power's never right. Like, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. It's pissing me off because I was like, literally, like, I won a tournament by like 8 strokes on the Corn Ferry Tour. And then now I've been like 11th and I'm even. I can't even get birdies. It doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense, but I did get a hole in one, which was kind of cool.
That is dope. Is that a trophy?
Yeah, but I already had it.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, so like it's weird. Like the driving, the iron play, it's all much better. But it's like suddenly I can't putt again,
Hmm.
so that's really weird. But anyway, we played Chivalry.
Mhm.
Played Chivalry again. I beheaded a guy, then I picked up his head and threw it at somebody. That was pretty fun. Really
That's
enjoyed
always
that.
great. Yeah.
Um, and then this guy was running for me, and I threw my sword at him, and it stuck in his back, which is kind of
Yes.
awesome.
I love throwing shit at people.
Really enjoyed that, but no, it's still fun. I, I was I was looking at the whatever it's called, the trophy list, just to see
Mhm.
how close I am to platinum. And if it wasn't for killing people with bread, I think I would go for it.
I agree,
But
100%.
I'm not gonna sit there and even trying to cheese it.
Yeah.
It would be so fucking hard. Like I'm just not interested.
It's pure luck. Yeah. Yeah, just you just have to be in the right place at the right time. So, is that all you played?
Yeah,
Sweet. So, yeah, like you said, we played some Chivalry 2, played some more of that, and, still loving it, still enjoying it. Maybe we'll get back to it at some point this weekend, depending on how we feel about the Warlander and, kinda go from there. Like I said, I tried out Trackmania, enjoyed it. Looks really good on PS5. I just kind of don't really understand the point of the game. Like, you're literally just, like, it's just time
just time
trial,
trial. Yeah,
yeah, it's just literally time trial against, the global leaderboard, which is fine,
I
but,
thought about it, but like if you should get bored, just watch the world record times. You can't.
I'm sure
It's
it's
fucking impossible.
yeah, I'm sure it's stupid as fuck. I just don't I will say this, though, it is a cool game. It's a good game, and it has a very neat take on the battle royale, for a racing game. So that was interesting. I enjoyed that. So I don't know. I might go back to it one day. Who knows? So there's just too much to do right now. So the last thing that I played was Lego 2K Drive. I reviewed it for GamingNexus.com. I gave it an 8, which is good with minor flaws for us. And I think it is a great Lego kart racing open world game. It's got a lot of charm. It's got a lot of that Lego movie energy. I wrote in my review about how one of the rivals that I raced against, his name was Hugh Man, and he was an alien. And he
Oh,
told me
nice.
he told me in a conversation that he was trying to blend in by acting normal, doing things like hanging out, breathing air, and hating Mondays. And I
Breathing air.
fucking died. Yeah, and I fucking died. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh,
So it's got a lot of heart, and the racing is very good. I didn't realize it was a full on kart racer, but it really is. It's not as arcadey as like Mario Kart. Like there's a little more to it, like a little method to its madness, and it's got a little bit more weight to it, I would say. But it feels really good. It's a really fun racer, and then the other thing is that the customization on it is just stupid. Like, people are going to create some insane shit on that game. Like, you can build a Lego car from the ground up. Like, if you can think of it, you can do it. Like, I don't know if you wanted to build like an F1 car or something like that, you could absolutely do it on that game. It's very cool. Very, very cool. I'm just not creative enough or patient enough to do it, but I could see where like maybe you would do it because I know you like to, paint and stuff like that. So I think someone like you could create something really cool on there and they will. And my issues with it were that it did that thing that some games do where it like it soft locks you. So I got to like level 15 or 16 rank, XP rank, and I got into the final third of the story, and it's like, "Oh, you've gotta be level 20 to do this race." And I'm like, "Oh my fucking god, it's a Lego game, guys. It's a Lego game. Just let me fucking play it. I don't wanna go grind out side activities." And so it really there's really no good reason other than the fact that that it's a video game, and that's why it made you do it. So that was annoying. And then I will admit that the customization camera when you're, like, building a car, it's a little finicky because there's so many, like, no pun intended, moving parts. You got all these Lego bricks, and sometimes it can be a little finicky, like, picking the right one and stuff like that, so just a few little small issues with that other than I was pretty annoyed with the progression imbalance, but anyway, I can recommend it, though. Fun game, definitely check it out. Um John has it. I think he wants to play at some point, but, it's cool. It's cool. So, anyway, that's all for me. That's all for Travis. That's all for the show. We'll get out of here now. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to get a new episode delivered to you every Monday on your podcast feed or YouTube. We, would also appreciate if you could leave us a like, a rating, a review, thumbs up, heart, all that good stuff. Comment. It's very helpful in the algorithm. We would also love to hear from you on social media. You can find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, and our website is the dualsenspodcast.wordpress.com. So hit us up wherever you choose and let's chat some PlayStation. And I think we're going to have quite a bit to be chatting about in the days ahead. And I think next week's show, obviously, Travis is going to be fucking massive, massive show. So we're going to have a lot of good things to talk about, I think. So we'll get out of here. You guys take care. Have a great week. Enjoy the showcase. We'll talk at you next time. Bye bye.